Comedian, actor, military veteran Jay Hunter, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, now based in Detroit. Welcome to the show, On Air Johnny B. Jay Hunter, how you doing?
Man, thank you for having me. And it's crazy. Since you reached out to me, like I told you, like I was living in Detroit. Like I just recently moved to Chicago, so I've shifted my home base. You know, I tell other people like I'm a Chicago, like originally from Cleveland, but when I travel places, I didn't tell people I was from Cleveland. I said I was from Detroit. You know, so I don't get robbed. And now it's like Chicago. That's a step above, so I get more and more credit. So I'm probably gonna rent a place in Compton just so I could say that I'm okay.
As a military veteran myself, I want to thank you for your service. You've had an interesting journey from working with nukes to making people laugh. Can you tell us more about your transition from being a nuclear reactor operator in the Navy to becoming a comedian?
Yeah, long process. It started with being a class clown. Like I was a class clown. Like I barely made it through high school, and I had to join the military. So barely graduating through high school, I go into this MEP station and I take this exam, and they go, "Hey, you scored high," and I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm kind of dumb. And then I take some other test, and they tell me I got a 78 out of 80 on this other test, and I did the like, like, are you talking? Like I didn't get good grades. So when they told me about the nuclear field, I was like, boom, I'm in. First 2 years of that was schooling. So 2 years, Goose Creek, South Carolina, no more multiple choice. One of the hardest things I've ever done. And I'm talking about, like, to pass, you had like to have a 2.5 GPA and above. And I was a 2.5, like I was the tail out the end. That was the caboose. But, what do they call a doctor that, has straight C's? Malpractice. No, so like I used all of that discipline and I started developing myself. I had 3 more years left on the 6-year contract. I already knew I wanted to get out of the Navy. So I basically just started transitioning myself into civilian life. Like got my degree, started working some white collar jobs. Still didn't even get into comedy yet. So I'm doing all of these other things, getting all these life experiences, and I'm just watching, I'm going to call it the downfall of society a little bit. Just seeing stuff where you're just like, oh, this is terrible. So I finally just kind of made a decision that I wanted to, be part of the change. And I told myself the best way to do it is stand-up comedy, because if I become a public speaker, I'm just going to have audiences that already know what I'm talking about. If I, do any of these other things, you're going to have like a stagnant audience. But if you're a comedian, you can imprint a message within jokes, and you're getting all different types. All you have to be is funny, So you can have someone come into the comedy club and they're undercover. I'm not going to go down that list because I don't know how, like I haven't heard you like curse yet, so I'm not going to go down a list to get ridiculous, but you could, okay, I will. You could be a closeted homosexual, you could be an out of the closet homosexual, you could be Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, you could be Republican, Democrat, you could be all those things. You go to the comedy club, the lights go down, you don't have to identify yourself. You just laugh. So that just means your brain is now susceptible to my horseshit. So it's that this whole journey started about 6, maybe 7 years ago. So
impressive.
I did a bunch of stuff in between.
Were you considered the private joker in basic training, throughout training?
Yeah, like within the past 3 days, I was just telling this girl about how laughter when you're not supposed to laugh is the best thing on this planet. Like it's the funniest thing, like at a funeral or something. And then I just had to like up that funeral thing, and it's like basic training. You're lined up, everyone's towing the line, everyone's in a line, and then you're facing another line of just whatever, and they're coming through doing their inspection, dead silent in there. And soon as the I'm just going to use your terminology. I mean, I did the Army Reserve as well, so it's like, but you know, I'm not going to say RDC. I'm going to say the drill sergeant would, as soon as they passed me, I immediately like cross my eyes, and then I kind of do like a little wiggly thing, and then straighten back up, and then someone across from me snorts, and then their attention goes like, "What's so damn funny?" And it's like they're not going to say like he was drop down. Oh, I love those moments.
The basic training was just comedy gold when it came to the drill sergeants.
Comedy gold. You and I are of a similar generation, so it's like, do you remember Beavis and Butthead?
Of course.
Oh, I already forgot his name. The gym teacher?
Oh, I don't know the gym teacher's name.
Okay, but he had a buzz cut.
Yes.
He would wear like these yellow tint sunglasses. Beavis, Butthead, kick me in the jimmy. Kick. I had a guy had the same buzz cut, and the same glasses. He was kind of, well, everyone's short to me, but like he was just a little bit short, and he was that type of do you think this is funny? Do you think this is funny? And like, I'm like, does he know that is hilarious? Like, if we're all dying on the inside as he's yelling at that person like, no, I don't think it's funny, Drill. You know, like it's that's one of the best moments of my life. Just going through that type of yelling, that regiment, is just one of the best times of my life.
What other influences besides drill sergeants influenced your approach to comedy and acting from the military?
Ooh. Oh, the biggest influence, and this is going to be my biggest hurdle, because I need to make a moment that happened when I was in the Navy. I need to be able to tell it, and I need it to be as funny as it was back when it happened. But in the Navy, I was on an aircraft carrier, and it had about like 3,000 people, so it acted like a small high school or a big high school, depending on how you look at it. We're out to sea. We're somewhere in the Middle East somewhere, and like people would do their jobs during the day, and you know, for my department, we had jobs that went 24 hours a day, so you know, people would just kind of come and go. But we had these lunch areas, and they would have, you know, they'd serve food at these pockets of time for a 24-hour period. But I just know from like 2 a.m. to about like 4 a.m, we would just chill in like this lunch area, and it was just about 10 of us, and it would all, you know, one person would leave, someone would come, and we would just talk so much trash. Like, it was one of the funniest moments ever. Someone would walk by. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like this guy, he would walk by, and he was like Wesley Snipes dark. You know, and he walked by, and everyone was like, ooh, you know, and this one moment I was like, man, it looked like he went outside and he said to the sun, give me all that shit, you know, like, and just was like, and we just started laughing. Well, there was this one instance where this guy says something funny to me. I'm not gonna retell it, because it's just, you had to be there, so I have to get all the right moments to make it really funny. But like, he said something. Damn, this is so hard to not tell it. He said a thing.
Don't hold back.
It's like I have the ingredients to make a wonderful cake, but I don't quite know the name of all the ingredients just yet. You know, like I just know it's sitting right over at that table, and I don't quite got it just yet. But I'll give you like the gist of it. We're sitting at a lunch table. I was talking trash to this guy that was from South Carolina. He talks real slow. He's like, hey, yo, so we're good. Like, he's about to fall asleep, you know? Like, he's like, hey, Reggie, wake up. You know, like, it's, shut up, you know? And I'm like, man, Reggie, you're so slow. It looks like you're waking up in between comas. And, like, he goes, hey, shut up before I put this in your ass. Now, here's the thing. We're sitting at a table, and he pointed at his foot. We're sitting at a table. no one can see that. All it looked like to everyone was he pointed downward. And I just did a, what are you going to put in my ass? This was back in like 2004, maybe 5 or something like that. Like he, hey, wait, no, I wasn't, I wasn't like Reggie. We didn't have a conversation. I was pointing at my foot. You're sitting at a table. You were pointing at, like that. We laughed for an hour straight. He tried to change the subject. Other people can't. People were coming by. What is everyone laughing at? Reggie said he's going to put this. Like it was just, that's when I like really, really knew like comedy was the thing. Cause and most of it's like a comedic situation, that's not really like a stand-up thing. Like I don't think I'll ever get that to be funny in a stand-up the way that it needs to be, but I could probably recreate that in some type of sitcom, some type of, arena, whether it's sketch, whether it's just in a TV show, something like that. So that was the birth. That was the Big Bang.
The origin story.
The origin story. Oh,
you mentioned being in multiple branches, being in Army Reserves. What other badges have you collected? Being Coast Guard, Air Force?
I didn't feel like, see, you said Air Force at the end, Coast Guard. I was like, I didn't want to demote myself like that. I have self-respect. But then you said Air Force, and it's like, that was the first choice. First choice was Air Force.
Gotcha.
And at the time, like they were having tea and crumpets, and they were like, we don't need any idiots right now. But the Navy was like, come on. So I went to the Navy recruiter. But there was a time period where I was thinking about actually trying to join each of the branches. I just did it in the wrong order. You know what? The last one branch that I would do would be the Marine Corps. Right as I'm as smart as I can be, and I would be a god. Why am I talking about the Marine Corps? Oh man, I hope you don't have a large following. This is gonna kill.
Not yet, but I'm getting there.
Oh man, just Marines watching this. Like I'm gonna go to one of these shows and I'm gonna fuck that squid up.
We'll just get those some crayons.
Yeah. Like after I finish this crayon. But the last branch would be the Marine Corps because they would make me president. Because I'd be sharp. But like after I did the Navy thing and it was Navy nuclear stuff and it was very technical and all these other things, after I got my degree in engineering, I joined the Army Reserve and I ended up going down like the combat engineer. Got commissioned too, so don't hold that against me. But
yes, sir.
Yeah. I was the coolest though. That's the thing, because I went out there like, yeah, I don't know anything, and they're like, we like that one. we like, I'm nice and dumb, guys, and they're like, yeah, bring him over here. We like him.
Were you the LT that got lost?
No. I was the LT that was like this. I don't know anything. Don't put it on me. and because the LT that got lost was the one that was like this. Come on, guys, I know everything. That's the guy that gets you lost. They do it in movies. I've seen it in real life. It's the person that has this bravado that, I'm the leader, you salute me type thing. He's the guy that's going to get you hurt, get you lost, because the ego is out of control.
Right.
I went out, I was already funny at the time, so I already knew. I'm like, I didn't want to just hang out with some of these people. Most of them I did, but it was like, you guys technically know a bunch of other stuff. I'm just managerial services right here. I'm just keeping it glued together. You guys know what you're doing. But a lot of people just didn't see it that way. They saw it as a power trip, But I can't remember the question.
Basically just being in multiple branches. I mean, I did dual MOSs, double jobs. And but being in multiple branches, I mean that's hard enough.
Oh, the learning curve was insane with the terminology.
I'd imagine so.
So like, it's not like they sent me back through basic. They just, because they were like, yeah, you had 6 years, so it was just right over there. So like, come on in, and since you're commissioning, we'll just send you to this officers training course or whatever. They just didn't do what they did through basic. So like, I got through it, and I had to like learn all these. It was just terminology differences, latrine, head, wall, bulkhead, time hacks. Navy doesn't have one, but it was all those things, and it was rough. Op orders like that. I think you could teach a civilian an op order easy. Teaching someone from another branch, someone from the Navy or the Air Force or Coast Guard, like op orders and the terminology used in op orders, it makes your head want to explode.
So much to unlearn and adapt to.
Yeah, because it's very simple, and you get that thing humming, it has everything in it. But you have to unlearn a lot of stuff. Why is this in here? Oh, I semi-miss it.
I miss it too sometimes. I left because I got burned out, but sometimes I do miss it.
How long were you in?
I was in for 5 years.
Okay, and do you miss the job or the people?
A little bit of both.
Yikes.
More so the people than the job. But I do miss it though.
I definitely miss the people. Like in both the Navy and the Army, like I met some very, very cool people. Army, there was a bunch of time periods where life sucked. A little bit in the Navy, but life sucked. And it was those people that made it so much better. They made the time fly by doing nothing. They made that was great. Navy, there was a lot. In the Navy, I was a floating Homer J. Simpson. So I legit sat, and I mean, I'm not going to put, because I wasn't doing, you don't just tool around with, you just sit there at this huge panel, and you just monitor, and you take, every hour you take, like your log readings or whatever.
Just stare at a blinking light.
Staring at, from anywhere from 3-hour shifts to 6-hour shifts, you're just sitting there. You can't go to sleep. You're sitting there. And it's just you and like an officer and maybe like 2 other people, depending on the operations that's going on. But it's not like you're just having fun. I learned how to watch paint dry like a champ. I'm telling you, I could help it too. Like I just get that 1,000-yard stare, even better. Just like reading your meters. Oh man, that's terrible.
Tell me about your first time performing live. How did it go, and what did you learn from that experience? Was it from a civilian audience or a military audience?
Civilian.
Okay.
Because I think I was at the end of my reserve career when I started, but I've already moved to like Detroit, and it was at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, and it was at their open mic. So Mark Ridley's is the right outside of Detroit, and it's the main international comedy club. I went to their open mic. I got on the list. To that point, I've never heard what my voice sounds like coming out of a mic. So it's
kind of weird, isn't it?
Super weird. I gave myself a millisecond to I was like, hello. And it hit me that I'm standing in front of there, and I did my set. I ended up running the light, and it was because I told myself to just memorize the jokes that I wanted to do. And I read over it like twice, and I'm like, I got this. And when I got up there, I forgot everything. So I just told some Navy stories. And it worked, but I was so like rabbit in headlights or deer in headlights that I missed the light or whatever, and I went over my set. So the thing that I learned when I got off was I was angry that I didn't memorize my set. That's it. Because I wasn't nervous before. I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't really that nervous. Like, I don't really get nervous either. Like, it's a thing that I kind of have. But I wasn't really nervous. I was just mad that I didn't memorize it. I can remember that it wasn't hilarious. I had a handful of pockets of people that were laughing. And I can vividly remember that's how an open mic is supposed to be. Like, God forbid that I have, God, I'm about to get sick just thinking about it. If I ever do another open mic, I'm kidding. No, that's kidding. But it's like, it's, you're listening to someone that doesn't quite know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing and their joke isn't good. And it's just this awkwardness. So I have to go back and be like, yeah, that was me. And then immediately, I want to say a week after that, I did improv for the first time.
How'd that go?
So I've been telling, for 3 years after that time stamp, I told people that I'm at least 10 times better at improv than I am at stand-up. And I have to stop saying that because of the difficulty in improv, because it was almost like I was lessening the ability of it. Because even though I'm good at improv, I'm good at being present, good at being in the moment. If you don't know the rules and how to play with the team, you will limit the fun and the funny that you can produce. But I'm very great in the moment. Like when I did that improv, I was like, I'm almost home. But I knew I had to go down the stand up, do the stand up thing. Yeah.
Your creative process. What is your process for comedy writing, and how do you come up with new material?
I have to let it come to me, and it's almost like how people come up with good ideas when they're in the shower. Like, it's those inopportune moments where you don't have a piece of paper or you don't have your phone to write it. It's when I'm not supposed to. It's when, like, inspiration strikes. So, as an example, halfway through the pandemic, I maintained some contacts in the Maine area, and they were running shows, and I ended up jumping on a show. They were going to let me close out one show, and like I was doing a set on a showcase of another, a Friday, Saturday. And from Detroit to Maine, it was about 11 to 13 hours, and I wrote my 35-minute set while I drove.
Wow.
Yeah. And people were like, oh shit, that's crazy. You did like voice to text? I was like, nah, these jokes ain't gonna be good unless somebody's life is in danger.
You were driving single-handedly, writing down jokes.
Yeah,
Hopefully you don't drive a stick.
No, I learned this new method where you just put your knee up there and you just two-handed and you let it go to God. You just like, this is about to be No.
Now you got to get a Tesla and just have the Tesla drive for you.
I bet my jokes won't be funny. There's nothing funnier than, ooh, this is a great idea, and you're like this, like just kind of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But that's, I hate that I'm really leaning into it, but my process is I have to let it come to me, and I have to get it down while I can, because I lose it. I also have this thing where the second I'm writing something down, my creativity opens, but the quality of my creativity diminishes as I'm typing. So I could have a great premise and I find it extremely funny, and I'm trying to get to the place to where I just type a sentence or a couple of words and I just let it go somewhere, and then later I'll come back and make it funny. When I open that door, I start typing more and adding something else and adding something else, and I start losing the thread of this initial thought. So I'm kind of being more verbose, but it's being less quality of that creativity as I continue. So I'm trying to keep a type of brevity to where I'm at. Like, eventually I want to get to a point where it seems like I just have topics and I talk about them. So that's where I'm taking it. If I had a set list, it would have 7 words on it, and I would know how to just do an hour off of those 7 words.
Wow.
But it's because you know the points that you're going to hit. You know how you're going to fill in the painting. You know, I just don't want to get too caught up on verbatim and structure.
Is that a common practice for comics, or is that just works for you?
It just works for me.
Gotcha.
Most of the guys that are at the top, that's how it is, because they already know that they're funny and they already know how to structure a joke. So even if something happens to them right before a show, they'll know the exact way that they're gonna give them a premise, set it up, deliver the punchline. It just comes with like kind of the practice of it. Almost like Steph Curry, he doesn't have to think about shooting a jump shot. He doesn't have to think, make sure your thumb is down or whatever. He lets it go, and he knows where it's going, and it's that type of practice.
It's like comedic muscle memory.
Comedic muscle memory, absolutely.
I've heard you do some voice impersonations, such as the gym coach from Beavis and Butthead. What else can you do? Can you share a few?
That's a person that doesn't know the answer to something.
Good one.
Damn, that was funny. I enjoyed that. I've worked on Barack Obama because I just figured I figured out a little trick to how he speaks. Like Barack Obama says words, and it's almost like he wants to suck the word back in before it comes out. You know, I was just talking to my family the other day, and Joe Biden came to my house. These headphones, I swear I can't even hear it. Hold on. Malia, get to the post. I can't do it. I can't, because it's like I could hear my voice, but whenever like I didn't have headphones. Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, there. See, wait, did it sound different?
It does a little bit, yeah.
Yo, that is crazy. I have these headphones on, and there's like an echo, and it's like, Joe Biden. I'm like, who's this pipsqueak? You know? Joe Biden. Joe Biden. You know? Thank you. Thank you. There it is. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm full of words. All right, who are the other ones that I've been working? I'm like, it's something stupid. The reason I had to like take these headphones off because it's like if I could hear it in my head, I can typically do it. But if I don't hear it in my head, I'm just shooting in the dark, and it could be on, it could be off. Like I've been trying Idris Elba. I can't do it good, but I like doing Norm Macdonald just because it makes me like, it just makes me laugh. Like, you know, all right. It's not, these headphones are killing me.
It takes a little getting used to. When I first got into radio and I had to wear the headphones for monitoring, I was like, whoa, is this how I really sound like? Or when I went for air checks and first heard my voice in radio, it was...
So I was
scared.
You really have to be good at voices. If you can now hear the voice and you're not just gassing yourself up like, yeah, no, I do the best Barack Obama. You know, it's now you're hearing what your audience is hearing, and it's like, uh-oh, those aren't as good as I thought they were. I can't even... There's some Family Guy characters. Oh, all right, let's see. Peter. Oh, hold on. Peter. These headphones are... Peter, you know?
That's better.
That's crazy. I take the headphones off. It's like because I'm doing like an adjustment as it's coming out. You know, Dad. Hey, Dad. Ah, that's crazy. You know, Matt came over the other day and, who the hell do you think you are? Oh, Peter. That is so stupid. That's... You know, Lois, I can't do the Quagmire. You know, Lois, when you told me to come over and tear up this carpet... That's one of the funniest jokes I hear. You know, Lois. Cleveland. Let's see. No. Loretta.
That's perfect.
Cleveland Brown Jr. All right, I'm back. I can't. Those are all dumb.
Welcome back to the show, Jay Hunter. that was some very good impersonations.
That was awful. But I gotta work on it, because you brought up voice acting. During the pandemic, I had a voice acting coach. At the end of her training, it was included in her course. Went to a studio, recorded a demo. Boy, I hate it, but whatever. And ended up getting a gig off of it, and I've been applying ever since, but I haven't really quite gotten another voice acting gig. But I want to get my dialects, get all, like my accents down, and my impressions and my characters. I just want to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, I quit my day job, so it's like I want to have all these other revenue streams. So,
what was your day job before comedy and after military?
After military, I did civilian nuclear power for a few years. I did a few years of power grid operations. Then I ended up getting the job that brought me to Detroit, where I was like a process quality engineer at Chrysler. And I guess I jokingly tell people I was like a PowerPoint pusher, but it's not really a joke. Like, I was just a PowerPoint pusher, well paid, but, and then the last 4 years working at Chrysler, I was working remote. So it was like when I was phoning it in, it was a recorded voice.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I had a lot of freedom to develop the comedy side of things, so that I can eventually, like, quit a semi-remote, because they were trying to get me to come back and shit. I'm like, you know what, y'all motherfuckers, quit the job and then do this full time. But I mean, I act as well, and I do like some commercials. I just got back from Toronto, and I did like a small project out there. I just like being able to pay for comedy, not white collar.
What are your thoughts on AI in comedy?
Stupid.
Thought so. Do you think AI, I imagined this answer, do you think AI can write better jokes than humans?
Yeah. For these dum-dums that are out here that want the lowest common denominator of joke. Like, I've been watching the United States, wow, I'm about to get up on a pedestal. I've been watching the United States just get collectively dumber. And we would complain about, USA number one, and then go to Walmart and buy stuff made in China. Like, we don't want responsibility anymore. We just want to sit back, not pay anything for something. So that means there's going to be a bunch of memes, a bunch of dick jokes, we're not thinking anymore. So AI will probably entertain us unless we, fight back, unless we keep, live comedy alive. I did my best to stay away from saying live twice. But it's just one of those things. Do I think it should? No. Do you think it'll help? It could, but you have to use it just like I would use gears on a bicycle. You could have a bike that has only one gear. Going uphill, that sucks. Now you have gears on this bicycle. You can go uphill and your ass isn't beat. Use it that way, not put a motor on a bicycle. I was about to go down that pathway too. Like driving is a nightmare. And in certain cities like DC, Toronto,
Houston.
Do they do a lot of motorized bikes out there?
No.
Okay. Here's the problem with motorized bikes. As a driver in a vehicle, you have 3 different speeds. But now that they have motorized bikes, there's 4 different speeds you have to look out for just to make a left or a right turn. Walking speed, bike speed, because there's a goofy bike lane or whatever, e-scooter, and another vehicle. So I have to look out for the speed of another vehicle, which is already 1 speed. These e-bikes and these scooters are way faster than regular bikes, and then someone walking. So, like, I have to look out for 4 different speeds before I even make a right turn. In Toronto, they got a lane that's for people that are on bikes, and they really care about pedestrians crossing. Fucking pedestrians. They care about pedestrians crossing. If I'm making a right turn, this bike lane where someone could just be on a bike, and then there's the motorized bike, and then there's people crossing the street. you can almost kill somebody. It's a mess.
That's nuts. Who are your muses or inspiration in comedy?
The reason I got into comedy was Patrice O'Neill. He's solamente. He's the one that got it there. And it was because from this big, beautiful being, he was able to put into words certain terminologies. He figured out things, and he had the terms for it, the terminology, and he made it funny, and he didn't compromise himself. He basically taught me righteousness. So that's the reason why I got into comedy. Then there was like a ton of other comedians that I saw, and it was like, oh, okay, I can do comedy. So like I wanted to because of Patrice, and then it's like, oh, okay, these guys are doing it. I can find a lane for myself there. Some other names, Chappelle is up there, Dave Attell. I got on to Norm Macdonald very late because I'm slow. What's the other McDonald? Oh, Mark Norman. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, Mark Norman. I just like his word economy. Words matter. I think that stuff really, really matters. And it's very tight because he doesn't do a bunch of impressions. He's not doing a bunch of facial things. He's not doing a backflip on stage. He's saying words and he's making you piss yourself. So he's doing the Lord's work.
You have a quote. You have to stay busy to stay worthy. Tell me more about what that means to you.
Stay busy to stay worthy. Well, I really feel like it's one of the best equivalencies is like the gym. So if I want to get a six-pack or a big chest or big arms or look good naked, you have to stay busy in the gym because there is no shortcuts. That's how I'm treating entertainment. I want to just be competitive and I want to be good at it. And you have to be busy because nobody cares about your days off. Nobody cares about your rest. Nobody cares about the shows you didn't do. They just care about you being dope, being very good at what you do. So I always, I'm always on the road. And I'm saying yes to opportunities until I can start creating the opportunities myself, because it's the way that you get to the next step. The opportunity that I have here, I'm on tour with this comic I featured. I spoke to somebody. They're like, "Hey, would you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And now I'm here. Then after today, tomorrow I got a show in Norfolk, Virginia. Old stomping ground, Don't Tell show, and then I'm coming back to Durham, and I'm headlining a Next Stop comedy show. So it's you kind of just have to be busy, get yourself in the area, and just stay busy.
You're definitely quite busy, being on the road all the time. You got the voice acting career, doing commercial work. How do you find time to balance comedy, entertainment, and personal life?
Damn, I'm going back to working out with this analogy. Individuals would ask me what my thing is for working out, and I know I look great. Thank you. You don't have to say it. No, all right. We're playing.
It's keto, right?
Comedy. I'm so dead. Okay. The working out analogy where they ask how many days a week do you work out, and I say 7. Because life happens, and of course it's going to be 4 or 5. So it's every single day, and if you just let a healthy life go by, it's going to be 4 or 5 days a week. So my balance is I'm trying to do something every single day. I'm trying to get it to the point where every single day in my calendar is filled with something. Of course it's going to fall short of that because I'm human, and the people that I'm trying to get answers from, they're human. Events happen, things get canceled, whatever. The balance works itself out. but I'm trying to keep every hour, every minute of my day full, because I know there's no way that I can do that. So the balance will happen. I don't need to plan it. I don't need to plan fun. Fun happens.
The balance will come to you.
The balance will come to me.
If you could give any bit of advice to aspiring comics, what would it be?
The joke answer would be don't do it. The actual advice that I give people is, because I hate giving advice, if you're new at comedy, there's no way. If you're new at comedy, there's no way that you are going to hear anything, because it's just so much static, so much white noise, so much stuff going on everywhere. The only advice that I would give is keep going up, keep writing. Keep going up, keep writing. Keep going up, keep writing. I've had new comics send me their stuff like, hey man, just take a look at this and tell me what you think. Doesn't matter. If I pick out everything wrong with it, how much is it going to land? How much is going to stick? Not to mention, if I don't have time to go through my videos and find good clips and all this other stuff, how would I have time to like go through yours? Like it's all about like this time management. But if you just keep writing and keep going up, you can never go wrong. Because as long as you're going up, you're getting an audience, hopefully, an audience being honest with you. And if you keep writing, you're always trying out something new, you know. And of course you got to self-reflect and all these other things. But if you just do these two things, the system will work itself out.
Got some fun questions for you. If you could perform with any comedian, living or dead, who would it be?
Alive. No, I'm kidding. I would... perform with any comedian, alive or dead. Mark Norman.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, it was a fun question, but I didn't make it fun. That's okay. So like I was in New York earlier this year, and I was on a showcase at St. Mark's Comedy Club, and I was going up Bullet, and Mark Norman decided to, drop by, and the producers were going all crazy, like, oh, he's going to be doing a set. And the whole thing was, he was going to come in, go up first, and go to some other show. But he wasn't there yet. So the host already goes on. So it's one of those things where she doesn't know, so if he shows up a little bit later, he has to wait till I go on, and then he'll go after me. So host is already up, Mark Norman shows up, I go up, I do whatever I do. He goes up, he does about 10, maybe 15 minutes of just killer nonsense. And it was just magnificent. And like, he's gathering his stuff up, and he's like walking out. And then like, he stops, and I'm sitting in the bleachers or whatever, and it's kind of dark. And he stops, and he comes back in, and he's like looking up at the bleachers or whatever, because he can't really see. And he kind of climbs up a little bit, and he was like, hey man, good set. Like, if he was lying, he didn't have to come back and, do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, after I came and cleaned up, like, it was, I would want to perform with him just because he's a joke writer and performer. Everyone else, of course it would be nice, but I only want to, the words are the only thing that matter to me. Now I do a bunch of other stuff, and I don't really do impressions and facial expressions. I'll do a bunch of other stuff, but it's like, I want to get to the point where it's the words are the only thing. I don't want to have to go, oh God, like I want to go up there and Stephen Wright, like I would want to be able to just, if I could do 90 minutes of one-liners, that would be heaven, just stuff where it's just no fat, just lean meat.
You've been in business for quite a while, so I'm sure you still have some pre-show jitters. But do you have any rituals or superstitions, stuff that you go through to get yourself pumped up for the show?
I try my best. No, I don't. Like, I don't like. I don't like anything before I go up. So maybe I want to hear the audience a smidgen, but if I had my way, I'd be locked in a cubby hole, and then someone says 5 minutes, and then I'll kind of go up and do whatever, because there's nothing that I need to do or nothing that I want to do. I want to just be doing whatever I'm doing, and then go up. I don't even have like a good ritual. I don't. I used to drink while I was up on stage, and then I stopped drinking. Because I just called myself like a social drinker, and I was like, I like having something. I don't need those things anymore, and so like I just can't think of anything. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Mine was, I mean, you're probably going to laugh about this, I hope you do, but Stuart Smalley for Saturday Night Live. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
You do that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just to get me pumped up a little bit,
Patrice O'Neal would have killed you.
Like
there's like this story, I think it was on the documentary, like after he passed away, some documentary or whatever, and he said, it was like this one white comic, and he was like, he saw me, like do like the pray hands right before I went up on stage, something like this, and he goes on stage and it was tepid or whatever, and he pulls me to the side. He was like, if I ever see you do some shit like that again before you get on stage, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, and gosh darn it, people like you. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, I think I have, even though my demeanor doesn't really say it, and my face probably says it, but like I kind of have a hardcore old school approach to comedy, and I can't do the things that the older comics would do, like, ugh, that stinks, like screaming, like, boo, take your notebook and go, like none of those things. But in my head, that's how I write and that's how I perform. I wanna be able to do a set and Patrice wouldn't think I stink. So with that, I don't play well. Probably shouldn't be saying this, but like I just don't play well, because I'm very realistic. So if I caught you doing your little sermon with yourself,
I do it by myself in front of a mirror, no one around. Yeah.
You'll do it, and then I creep over your shoulder. Don't listen to him. But no, yeah, I still wouldn't say anything. It's just I just don't play well.
Looking back, how have you handled the pressure of constantly having to be funny and entertaining all the time? Because being in the entertainment business, people see us, and it's like that's stigmata that people put on the entertainers, that you always have to be funny at all times. But how do you?
Oh, how do I deal with that?
Yeah, how do you deal with the pressure?
Because I was about to answer a completely other question. Like I'm gonna answer both. When it comes to like being funny, and it's time to be funny, there is no pressure. Like there's way more pressure than on me sending an email to a club that hasn't booked me before. Too much pressure. Too much pressure of, okay, send. I hope they like me. The pressure when people think I'm supposed to be like funny afterward. I've been getting a lot better at that, of telling people to pack sand. Like, it's too many people get it twisted. Like a lot of people come up after shows, like tell me some joke, and they're like, yeah, put that in your little skit. And I'm like, okay, that's painful. There's a lot of people that come up to me and they try and be funny with me, and like I was already funny before I started stand-up comedy, and then I did all the things necessary to be funny at stand-up comedy. People have it nice and twisted, thinking that funny is a self-diagnosis. I didn't think I was funny. Other people did. You would, if you were funny, like some audience member, if you were funny, we wouldn't be here. Like it's just how it is, you know. So I serve up a healthy dose of reality. I go, I don't think I'm going to use that. Like, it won't be what happened with us right here. Oh, like I'll say something funny and oh, don't put that on stage. You know, I'm like, what happened with us right here? There's context. Like, I'd have to recreate some context for it to be funny on stage. Or that joke you just told me, that comes from you. You know, I can't tell that because it won't be coming from me. You know, and they look at me like there's an eye growing out of my forehead, and I go, oh, and I just boop right on the nose, and I walk off. Mm-hmm. I like people, and people like me.
That's good.
And gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. Wrapping up, back in the military, what was your favorite MRE?
Chicken pesto or veggie lasagna.
Ooh, that was a good one.
The veggie lasagna always hit. Made no sense. Like it was noodles, kidney beans. Like it's stuff that if you found in regular lasagna, you go, "Where's the chef? I'm gonna kill him." But as an MRE, when you reheat that madness up, like that was fantastic. Okay, the best thing that happened to me was coming from the Navy, regular ass shitty food on a ship, to these MREs, and there's these people that were like, you know, full-time Army, and they're like MREs. I'm looking at these MREs like they were the last. Oh, these are amazing. I was going to town. I have a few left over. let's just say I have a few left over, and when I say a few, like it would fill up a tub. So I have a few left over, just because I thought they were the greatest invention on this planet.
They are quite tasty. They will give you the shits, but they are quite tasty.
I heard problems of they'll give you the opposite of the shits, and so they had to add certain beverages that were semi-laxativical. I'm about to stroke out trying to get the word. No, but lackadaisical. No, so they would put a minor laxative in I think one of the milkshakes or something like that, where it would help this flush through you, because it's nutrient low, protein yes, but it's just a dense packet of stuff. So it's like your body's not quite processing it. There's certain things in there where it'll make you shit, but it's because you're not processing it. And if you are processing it, it's going to make you not. It messes up your insides. No, the gum. They said in the gum, they put a laxative in the gum. Because you got to digest it somehow.
I always thought it was the taster's choice.
Because caffeine is a diuretic.
Oh yeah.
I remember using the heaters to heat up. Like I would save the heaters so I could heat up my coffee.
No. I would take the heaters, we'd put it into a 2-liter bottle, and we would make bombs out of, not actual bombs, but
Allahu Akbar.
Yes. but we
they
just let it explode.
Really?
Yes, it was so much fun.
That shit got hot.
Yes, it sure did. And it got a little dangerous sometimes, but It was fun.
Good fun.
Wrapping up, last question, I promise. If you could go back to any of the services, any of the branches, would you go back to the Army or back to the Navy?
And if we're talking like truly going back,
yeah.
So like it would be the Army, and the guy that got me in, he was already commissioned, and he had a unit, and I went off to my officer school, and I missed the deployment by a month, maybe some weeks. I'd go back and I'd go on that deployment with them, because I looked up to this dude, and I would have just loved to be there, because he just runs a tight ship, and he would make me want to do better as a person, as a LT, he inspires people. So like I would definitely go back to the Army just for that responsibility and that like badge of honor. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jay Hunter, for joining the show. How can people find you online? If they're going to a website, Facebook, Instagram, how would they find you?
Everything that I have right now is Jay Hunter Comedy. So that's JayHunterComedy. Like the Mickey Mouse thing, like MOS. Jesus. No, but yeah. So Jay Hunter Comedy. There's like www.jayhuntercomedy.com. Instagram Jay Hunter Comedy. Facebook Jay Hunter Comedy. My email is jayhuntercomedy@icloud.com, and I'll get my website up to date. And I'm currently on tour with Aaron Bilal, and we're doing things. And I'll be going to Austin after this.
Oh, awesome. Drink some water because it's hot in Texas.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of hot everywhere, but it's currently like 90 something out here. But when I was in Kansas City and it was like in the 90s, like 95, I thought I was gonna die. Like I thought I was gonna die. Like I'll go put on a jacket and run around outside and have fun. Same 90, and it's this north, but northeast, southeast, north, west. Anyway, but I'll be in Austin, and we're gonna be doing some weird shit. And I'm gonna try and keep it weird. I'm gonna bring some weird to Austin. Hell yeah.
Bringing the weird to Austin. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jay.